Hello and welcome back to NWCL Beyond the Boundary. I'm Colby Donnelly, and today I'm joined by Little Lever Cricket Club's first team captain, Josh Gent. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, mate. Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So today I want to ask you about your game at the weekend, about Little Lever Cricket Club, and a few other topics as well. You okay with that?
Yeah, good.
Good. So, firstly, could you introduce yourself, please? So, tell us about yourself and your involvement at Little Lever.
So, for anyone who don't know, my name's Josh. I'm captain at Little Ever. I've been captain since 2014, so this is my 11th season as captain. Quite involved within the club, do quite a few things, um, and that's probably thereabouts it, really.
So, just have a brief look at last season first. And I think you almost did everything but win silverware. You were runners up in the league to a very good Blackrod side. You were finalists in the Hamer Cup, so also a very good Reed side. And you got knocked out in the T20, the quarter final. A very good game, actually, against the aforementioned Blackrod. But as captain, could you let us know your thoughts of last season?
Yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up straight away. We was a Neely side. We was like we did we did we did well. If you look at it as a season, like we finished second, runners up in the Amer Cup, obviously a T20 quarter final of the Lancs knockout. Unlucky that day, really got harshly dealt with that day. Well, we should have won that game against Prestwich, but um, we just couldn't string enough together in the league. We just lost games when we really didn't need to. And Blackrod, mainly Blackrod, was it really the only ones who were pushing us, but Blackrod won them games where we lost. So end of the season, best team wins the league, and fair play to them. They were really good last season, and every credit to them.
And how much, because obviously your first year you won the league that first year, I think you won the T20 as well. So going into last season, obviously you didn't win the silverware. How much do you think the team have pushed this year to get some silverware?
Yeah, so the first season there again we was in we won the league obviously, which was a massive thing for us. Um, we did really well in the T20. We won that. Um, and I don't know whether it was just like a little bit of complacency maybe last year where we didn't expect it. Maybe did we? Well, I don't think anybody expected Blackrod to do what they did, especially not us. And we just were a bit complacent, really, in certain areas, certain times. Apart from the only thing I would say about the complacency last year towards nothing to do with the first year was in the Amber Cup final. That wasn't complacency. We really wanted to win that game. We just got beat by a really good Reed side. They were far superior to us on the day, and they deserved it massively.
What do you think you've learned the team from last season moving into this season?
Sorry.
What do you think you've learned the team going into this season, learning from last season?
I just know that we've just got to be better than we was last season, and hope it's enough for this season. We've recruited well. I feel like we've recruited well. A few additions to the side, and I'm hoping that we can just gel together, which is looking good at the minute. But we're only 2 games in. We can all look good for a few games. You've just got to keep that momentum going and push and make sure that we're still doing everything that we're doing now towards the middle and even more so towards the end of the season. Uh, Maybe so last season, there were a few towards the back end of the season. I felt like the intensity had dropped from us. Um, and if we can keep the intensity going within the stuff that we're doing prior to a game, so not the warm up or anything like that, but like the training twice a week, team selections, making sure everything's done before we get to a game on a Saturday. And then when we get there, it's just turn up, do the right things in the warm up, and get on with the game. I feel like that'll probably push us on a little bit further this year.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about your game of the weekend versus Eagley. You guys scored 270 for seven, and you dismissed Eagley for 129. Can you talk us through that game, please?
Yeah, yeah. So I know we lost the toss at Eagley. Um, they put us into bat. We was actually going to bat anyway. Um, and that was the second time I lost the toss against Tong the week before. And they put us into bat. And both times we've posted scores above 200. So that was really pleasing for me. We batted the overs in both games, which is a thing that we're really keen on. That we don't leave any overs there to spare. We make sure we bat the full 45 that we're set out to do, and that's what we did. Second time of asking again on Saturday. The pro obviously scored runs again. Mukhtar got 60 odd, I think. There was a few others here and there was picking up. So it was good to see other people scoring runs as well as the pro. But he's just looking really good at the minute. And then when it comes to the bowling, I feel like we got off to a really good start. We've been looking to have intensity within the first 10 overs and try and set the tone. And that happened again on Saturday. And the pro bowled well. He took a lot of wickets. But I think the pro's bowling well and taking wickets is because everybody else is bowling well. So sometimes people are taking chances against the pro just to score because they're not really getting much from both ends. So credit to the other bowlers. So as a unit, I thought we really did well. We've pretty much held all our catches so far, which is a real plus in the field. And extras have been minimal, probably down a lot down to the signing of our new keeper. So yeah, that was all. That's the way it went, really.
And you mentioned your pro there, Mohammed Junaid, and in the first two games, he scored 181 runs and have taken 13 wickets. What have you made from his start of the season? And he's a bowling pro, isn't he, as well? So he hasn't done had a bad start, has he?
Yeah, no, we certainly knew he was going to be probably more so effective for us with the ball than the bat. Um, but with the batting that we've got and the recruitment that we made, we thought that if we got like a middle to lower order, middle order batsman who was a really good bowler, we thought that would probably help us massively. But he seems to be doing it with both, and he looks really good with the bat and ball. But it was really pleasing to see him score. Well, you've seen him at Tong yourself to score runs, but in both games. I mean, there's going to be times when he doesn't, but I just feel like even if he doesn't score runs with the bat, he's just going to be effective with the ball anyway. So yeah, it's good to see early signs. I know it's only early and the pitches have been good, but yeah, it's good to see.
Involved in all your junior cricket as well at the club on a Friday night.
Yeah, him and the overseas amateur train with the nines, elevens. I think it's the nines, elevens, and 13s on a Friday night, six till about 8. I think they're there every week.
And you mentioned your new signing, so you Nippon left after last season. You brought in Riley Cameron, the Australian. You brought in Cam Murray, and obviously you brought in a very good keeper in Zach Burton. What do you think they'll bring to your team during the course of the season?
Well, it's like having, I know it sounds dad, but in football terms, it's like having a solid defence, isn't it? Having a really good keeper. You know what I mean? He sets the tone really from behind the sticks from word go. And last season, the wicket keeper that we had prior to him, he's sort of like finished playing now. Pretty much like halfway towards 3/4 the way through last season. So we had a young lad in who did really well for a young lad. But he just probably needs that little bit more experience at first team level yet. So when Zach become available to sign, I spoke to Zach and he were keen to come over and start afresh with us for a season, see how it went. So we signed him and he's just been brilliant. He's just been brilliant. It's been like I said, having a solid defence. It's just he's just ace behind the stumps. He's a really good lad. Gets on with everybody. So it's a good vibe around the dressing room. The overseas amateur, Riley Cameron. To be honest, when we signed him, I didn't really know anything about him. I just knew I had a look at his stats from Australia. He was a batsman that did a bit of keeping because if at the time that we signed him, Zach hadn't signed for us, so he was an option with the gloves. So we signed him through off the back of our professional from last year, Sam Fanning, plays in the same league as Riley, and he put us onto him, and we sort of went from there with that, and he highly recommended him, and to be honest, he's just a really, really nice lad, really good lad, getting on with everybody, like you mentioned before, getting involved with the juniors as well, which is a big part of what we do. And last week against Eagley, he's got off with some runs. He got 60 odd, I think, and it just sort of like settled in. I think it was a bit of an eye opener for him the first couple of sessions, training and stuff like that, because it's totally different wickets and everything's just totally different, a lot slower, the bowling and stuff like that. So he's just had to adapt, which he has done. So I can't really argue with that. And the other guy we've signed is obviously you'll know him well, Cameron Murray from Kersley, another Australian lad. I think everybody knows how good of a player he is. He's a really good amateur. So I feel like we've recruited well, and what we've already got, I feel like we've just added a little bit more strength in depth to the side, and I feel like that can only be a good thing. So I feel like we can push hard this year to try and win something.
Ballers, Curtis Anderton, I think he's took a ton of wickets last season and has done over the last few years. How good is it? Good is it as a captain to have someone in your team who's going to take wickets? And how nice is it to have someone like him in your team?
I mean, last year obviously he took more wickets last year. Well, I mean, he gets wickets pretty much every year, doesn't he? He's always taking a vast amount of wickets. But last year, I think he got like 100 or just over. I think it were 100 wickets. I mean, that's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. That, and every credit to Curtis for taking them. But what I feel like this year has done is with the pro being a bowler as well. I mean, not last year. Nippen got 60 odd wickets, but having this professional bowler as well as Curtis, I feel like not just with the batting adding strength in depth, the bowling as well. So I feel like them two are like they're working in partnerships really, and it's backing Curtis up really with a top bowler, because I feel like one thing that let us down last year as well, our bowling was okay, but I thought like sometimes people could get after us, but I feel like this year, I'm not saying people won't go after us. That's totally stupid to think that, but I feel like they'll find it a lot tougher.
Yeah. And you mentioned your juniors before. I know juniors are a big part of the league, like you said. You've got a fourth team this year in addition to your third team. I know you've got plenty of juniors in your ranks. Can you tell us a bit about your juniors and also your strategy for developing talent as well?
Yeah, so the juniors are going well, to be honest. From a few years ago, where we were struggling to even turn some sides out, we've got at least a side in every age group, and I think last year we had two teams in. I don't know if it was the 11s and 13s or just the 11s. So and they're not just. I don't think they're just like we've just got a team in each age group. They're actually teams that are competing and winning most games, doing really well. We've got a lot of people who've helped out massively in the club, like just with the juniors, especially just turning up week after week when things were really tough and we were struggling. And some of the juniors were just getting involved in cricket and stuff like that, to the point now where I couldn't tell you how many interleague players we've got. It's just really good, and we're competing with some of the top sides in the junior sections, which is really good. And we've invested in coaches and stuff like that coming down for them sessions and specialising in the bowling or the batting or whatever it might be, along with the other junior coaches that are doing the sides. It's something that as a club we want to push, because I feel like there's nothing better than having your own within your side, if you get what I'm saying. So we like having lads from Little Lever playing for Little Lever, and I feel like by breeding through good juniors, that sort of saying should continue for a number of years, really, because these lads are going to be good enough to play in the first team and represent Little Lever at a higher level. So yeah, it's going well.
And obviously, your third and fourth team, we I guess mainly for junior development, but in terms of your first and second team, especially first team, I think the kind of mixed opinion between do you put a junior in the first team or do you let them develop a bit further in the second team? What's your kind of plan for that? What do you think of it? Do you believe in putting a young player into first team when you think they're ready, or do you believe in more being more conservative and let them develop more in second team?
Um, if they're ready and they're good enough to come in the first team, then 100% they'll be getting picked to play in the first team. And if there's somebody who's in the second team who, he's looking anybody who is looking to try and play first team, if they're doing the right things and knocking on the door, they've got as much chance of playing as anybody. One thing that I don't like doing is if we're short, say for instance, we're short of a player, I don't know, somebody can't play for whatever reason. I don't like taking a lad from the second team who's just going to field and not, if he's say he's a batter, taking someone and just saying, you're number 9, 10, or 11, or getting a lad who's a bowler and just not giving him a ball, or if you're absolutely cruising in the game, bringing him on for an over or two. I just feel like that's just wasting someone. I'd rather speak to like an elder person and say, look, can you just fill in for us and help us out today in the field or whatever, and do it that way so we're not stopping the lads getting time playing at the time at the crease or bowling as many overs as that they can do.
And one more thing I want to talk about is the Little League culture. And for those who have played at Little League, you'll know it feels like an entire village where everyone's living and breathing Little League Cricket Club. How nice is it when you have a home game, when you're playing at home, to be able to have the entire village, it seems, supporting on your side?
Yeah, I think anyone from any team, not just someone like not just because we're from a village, but I feel like anyone will say they prefer playing at home to playing away. I mean, there's nothing better than being at home. We've played 2 away games on back to back now. I can't wait to play at home on Saturday. It's like when you go away on holiday, sometimes you just want to go home and get in your own home. It's only the same, innit? I can't thank people who come watching us enough. We get really good support, I must admit. Um, Home or away, we get really good support. It's something that I don't know. I don't know why or what, but we just do. And probably like you said, it's just the culture of it being a club in a village, and everyone sort of uses the cricket club as a hub, if you will. Everyone just collects there and then goes with it. It's just a good vibe around Little Lever. It's anyone who comes playing will say they might get a bit of banter going and stuff like that, but all in all, it's a good place to play. I'm going to say that I'm going to be biased because it's my club, but it's a decent place to play cricket for sure.
And you mentioned this topic on a few other interviews you've done, but I want to talk about your social media. Last few years, you've always been active in social media, especially on Twitter. I know all your players are on social media, like most of us are. But I think this year you've kind of ramped it up. This year you've done your team lineups, match reviews. You've done quite a lot of new designs at training and videos and stuff. What benefit do you think social media brings to Little League Cricket Club?
Um, I feel like we took. There's a lady at our club. She's took on the like all the social media accounts, and she's the one who's obviously pushed on with these videos and doing bits and bats of different things and opening times and what's happening, what's on at the club, and just puts it out there and everyone can. I mean, like you said, the amount of people that use social media is unreal. So there's no bigger platform than social media to advertise your club on. So all the videos that they do, if people watching them videos might say, "Oh, you know what? I fancy going watching the cricket this week or whatever," and it just brings more custom and things like that into the club. People who probably weren't going to do anything on the Saturday might just say, "Well, we'll go down to cricket club and watch that." So if that's what it does, I mean, I don't actually know how many people do that, but if that's what it does, it can only be a good thing, and it's not costing anything to do. So it's I think it's the right way of going about it.
And with West Cricket League exec looking for expanding the league this year and into the coming years, What would you say the positives that you and Little Lever experienced since being in the Northwest Cricket League?
We've been more successful at Northwest Cricket League than we ever were at Bowling League. Um, but as a league, I just feel like when we was in the Bolton League, as good as it was sometimes just a bit samey. It's because you're playing the same 14 teams week in, week out. You know what I mean? Um, so maybe just picking up some new experiences, going playing at different grounds, meeting new people, new friends, um, things like that. And I also feel as though like the league exec and things like that are just like getting a lot more things right than what they was doing when it was the Bolton League. I can't really speak on behalf of the Ribblesdale League because I don't know because we're never in that. But speaking to some of the lads out at the Ribblesdale League, they seem to think the same thing, that it's moving forward in the right way, and I hope it does, and I hope we carry on being a member of this league for a long time.
About the quality of cricket, I know in terms of pros, I know you've had some very good pros in the last couple of years. What have you thought about the whole quality of cricket across all the teams in the league?
The pro quality,
The quality of cricket.
the quality of cricket, yeah, it's been good. I mean, the first season in 2023 was um, a bit up and down because obviously everyone was in one league. But after the first season, like last season, I thought was a lot more competitive, and I think this season will be even more competitive. Now it's split into two divisions because people who want to stay in the top division, they know how tough it's gonna be to stay in it or compete in it. So I think that pushes and drives the standard up because if you do go down and stuff like this, I don't think it'll be as easy as you think to come back up. So playing around the top, so that itself, that top division, I'll always take the promotion relegation. Will always give you a better standard of cricket.
Yeah. And what do you think the league's main asset is to attract some more clubs in the next year or two?
I don't really, I don't really know what the main asset of attracting teams will be. I just feel like if they just keep doing the right things and not copying other leagues. One thing that I do like about our league compared to other leagues is that we actually have the advantage. I would say it's an advantage because it does that helps standard as well. Is that we're allowed to have a pro and overseas amateur. So if you're in an ECB sort of Premier League or whatever they call it, you could only have one. So I feel like for our standard, by having two, that drives it up. So some clubs that might be in some other leagues might say, well, you know what, we fancy having a pro and an overseas, and they might think, well, we're going to have to make a move or make a change and stuff like that. So that's good. I think that's good, and I like the idea of how we've been making our own decisions rather than hanging around waiting to see what other leagues are doing before we make a decision. We seem like we have like our league has a chat about what needs to be done, makes a decision and goes with it.
Mm.
Feel like that's we were the first ones last year to put the season back for 2 weeks straight away, and that was the right decision, wasn't it?
Yeah. Um, so now I want to move on to some quick fire questions to end this off. So the first one, your favourite cricketing memory?
Winning the Bolton League in 2013.
The best player that you played with?
Jake Lehman.
And the toughest amateur and pro player that you've played against?
Amateur and pro.
So one amateur, one pro.
Uh, Amateur, I would say Andy Kerr when he was at Greenmount, and professional, probably Adil Nassar in his pomp.
And the favourite ground to play at besides Little Lever?
Ooh, quite like Padiham.
And your favourite cricketing legend?
Um, Probably Alan Lansdale. He's not a cricketing legend to the world, but he is to me. He was a legend at Little Lever.
And last one, what's your biggest pet peeve in cricket?
Club's not having two sight screens.
So I think that's all the questions I have. Is anything that you'd like to add?
No, that's all. That's fine. It's all good.
Good. So thank you for coming on, and I wish you best of luck for the season.
Cheers. Thanks, Corbett. Thanks for that. Ta.
Guys, see you later.
Bye.